Welcome back, Vicarious viewers. My name is Vicente, and today I'm starting my reactions to the series Mindhunter on Netflix. So, I meant to watch this about a year ago when it was first coming out, but I guess I'm glad I waited, so now I have a YouTube channel and get to share my reaction with you guys. But Season 2 just came out, so it'll be nice to be able to move through these both seasons at a good pace. I'm planning to do at least an episode a week. I admit I was conflicted because today I found out that the new season of American Horror Story came out, and this season actually looks pretty good. And I do want to work reactions to that in, but as it stands right now, I'll be reacting to the next episode of Titans tomorrow. And I kind of wanted to go see a movie this weekend and maybe do a review for Ad Astra or the new Rambo. Or both. Let's see how my finances work out. Maybe I'll do the second one next Tuesday when I can go to the movie for cheap. But I hope to at least work in the first episode of American Horror Story before next week's episode comes out on Wednesday. Although I would get it on my Vudu next Thursday, so I wouldn't even get to react to it until then. But we'll see. I'm seeing what I can work in. But Mindhunter. This subject has always interested me, the darker side of the human psychology. I did go to college for computer science and then psychology, because what's a more complex computer than the human mind? It's kind of in the family too. My mom got her degree in sociology. My aunt used to work as a receptionist for a psychologist. All three of us went to a Darker Mind psychology conference together one time, years ago. That was a lot of fun. But I do know that this has to do with real-world events based on those, so I'm really interested to see where this series goes and how it's adapted. I've heard great things about it. I'm just ready to dive right in. Let's go. Cheers.
Agent Ford, FBI.
I want my wife!
Put the gun down, step away from this curtain.
Okay.
See me?
Oh, God.
Yes, I can see you.
All of
What do
you,
you see?
except your ankles.
I can see that you're cold.
Very cold. Just a tiddly bit nipply out.
He's not violent. He's been saying that he's invisible for a while now. Cody wouldn't
Explains
tell
the
me.
nakedness. A little schizophrenic. Paranoid delusions.
Maybe I can help.
Oh, shit. Damn. That'll make you second guess your choices. I do like the main actor, too. I remember him from HBO's Looking and COG? I think it was COG. I forgot what it stood for, though. What else is he in, though? I know I've seen him in other things. Isn't he in Frozen, too? Mental illness is so hard to predict. You never truly know what's going on inside their head. For all he knew, taking his wife there just meant that he wanted to hurt his wife, either physically or make her witness something. But I bet they blame him for killing himself. So even though I'm fascinated with psychology, I can never be a shrink. I don't want to be responsible. It's too much stress. You can't always help everyone, or you can be so sure that you are helping them, and then it just turns. How did he get blood on himself? I've never been any place where they just like hand you coffee.
You're not his shrink. You're not responsible for diagnosing him.
Exactly why I
These
don't want
things
to be a
happen
shrink.
in real time. And we're the last responders. I'm putting you to work where it really counts. Because of what happened, Holden. It seasoned you.
It's one way of putting it.
I'd rather not.
Well, you don't have a choice in the matter.
I'd like you to sleep on it over the weekend because you start full-time on Monday.
You're welcome.
Ascertain demands. Concede nothing, reject nothing, just listen.
Most people just
Try
want someone to
understanding him
hear
instead
them.
of trying to dominate him. For anyone who has questions about the psychological strategies exam.
Well, the life of being a teacher. They're done listening as soon as the bell rings.
Do you want to grab a beer?
Yeah, okay.
Cheers.
No one's even asking the questions.
We are.
We are.
Everything's got to start somewhere.
Next time, let's discuss Lee Harvey Oswald.
You don't look old enough to be in here.
What are you, a narc?
FBI, actually. Can you tell?
Everybody can tell.
I'm a teacher, right up the road at Quantico.
I actually went to a rave in San Francisco when I was 25 and had some kids accuse me of being a cop. I guess I just looked authoritative.
What's your thing?
Sociology. Had some bigger curly hair in the 80s, and she kind of looks like my mom.
Can we just go someplace?
You gotta be able to dance, though.
Is that a trick question? Are you serious? No, that's completely inappropriate. Oh, Jesus.
I think that's very appropriate.
Are you?
You are such a goody-goody.
I've been warned to watch out for women like you.
I mean, normal
Oh, really?
ones. So just put your mouth over the hole
Inhale.
and inhale.
Oh, his first time.
He was just so sad. He was obviously very disturbed, but somehow I liked him.
Congratulations, you're human.
As far as the Bureau is concerned, psychology is for backroom boys. Understand what I'm trying to say?
No, what's
Crystal
that?
clear. Oh, he's
It's
dense.
frowned upon.
Or naive. Granted, he did just hit a bong for the first time, so I'll give it to him that he's still green.
Frankly, I'm just surprised to have aroused such a degree of fucking neuroses among supposedly intelligent people who...
You think you're wearing a wire? There, you're one of us now.
Smoke?
I don't smoke when I eat.
Want to go outside?
I don't smoke when I don't eat either.
Really, Holden, sometimes you're like a monk. The people in law enforcement shouldn't be so naive. Where did
Even
that
his
come
girlfriend
from?
thinks he's naive.
Why are you with me?
You're nice.
I have to get up.
See, when some people calls me nice, I take the
Tomorrow's the first day of
compliment.
school.
It's a good thing. There's too many not nice people.
Our new quest, like Freud, is to look beyond what we assume are obvious impulses.
So why didn't you just say that?
You gotta speak in layman's for some people.
Into a crowd.
Know your fucking audience. She came from a deeply religious family in Arkansas. They found out she was pregnant. They put her out. The boy was polite and quiet. She had him in Sunday school at the Methodist church. She would sweep the steps every evening.
Was it a relative?
People won't do to each other.
Or someone thought she was a whore.
Found someone for a pushing.
Is this crime about the woman or about the child?
She had a child out of wedlock and she never said who it was.
You're asking me.
This woman
Don't get impatient.
was devoted to her child. What does a broomstick in the ass of a dirt poor single mom mean?
It's a little unreasonable to expect an epiphany from one evening of chatter. Part of me thinks it might have been her father. His little girl disgraced the family, and her sweeping the steps wasn't enough. I mean, I could be wrong.
Ada Jeffries and her son were killed for reasons we are simply not equipped to understand. Our job is to give him something he could not have figured out himself. I just don't think we can say anything to a guy like McGraw with any kind of certainty.
A little bit of an anticlimactic ending there. So, that was an interesting episode. Of course, I do have my own guesses as to who could have committed the crime, but of course, without the evidence, he's right. You can't really say with any certainty who you think did it. I mean, you could offer insight into who would be motivated to do something like that, and I think it is someone close to her that's maybe feeling hurt or betrayed by her actions, someone who sees her having a child out of wedlock and not naming the father to be very sinful, and that her sweeping up the church steps every Sunday isn't reparation enough for the damage she's inflicted upon that person, possibly. So it could be a close relative, father, brother, uncle, or even maybe someone who admired her from afar and was hurt that he wasn't the one that she chose. But when you're dealing with potentially putting someone away for life, it's hard to make guesses and insinuations without any hard evidence. And I think he is right to withhold and say, like, I can't tell you with any certainty. But when people are working on cases as emotional and heinous as something like that, it's hard not to want answers immediately. And sometimes you don't always get them right away. I wonder if they're headed out of town or if this will go somewhere. I hope that something that he said to him will lead them in the right direction eventually once they've sobered up and calmed down. I like shows like these. Really get into the minds of what people do, their motives, because motives aren't always rational, or at least not rational to us in what we see from the outside. I like his girlfriend. She's kind of helping him to think outside of the box as well. He is naive, but he is trying to learn more. He is trying to get other people's opinions, find out what they know. Because that's really what anyone needs to do to understand more, is ask questions, talk to people. There's always something more to learn. It was a refreshing touch that, what was him, the Rathman or something? The first professor that he took out to the beer. It was refreshing that he accepted the beer and they had a good conversation. In so many shows and everything, usually the veteran person in your institution is usually the very arrogant one at first and usually doesn't come around until you prove yourself. So I was half expecting him to be all like, sorry, I can't get a beer with you. I'm too busy and important to do that right now. But he said yes, which is nice. People need to say yes to having a beer more often. Talk. Learn from other people's experiences. And I think he also has to realize that not everyone is as inquisitive or open-minded to the intricacies of human nature and why they did it. Most people just want to know the hard facts. The fluid science of looking into the human mind either confuses people so they close it off or they just get bored by it. And he needs to learn more on how to bridge that communication gap. And like his partner was saying, like, know your audience. You also don't want to throw around a lot of like poetical and literature references to a bunch of cops that it may just fly over their head. I think he has to pick some more relatable subject matter. But I'm curious to see what happens next episode, if they're actually just moving on from that town or if they'll stick around to help solve that case. Hopefully they're just going back to the hotel and something will come to them, or the cop will give them a call with the aha moment about something he said. Well, part of me, of course, wants to just binge through this, but I have to edit this episode and I'm trying to stick to a schedule. So I'll probably get to the next episode next week. But what did you think of this episode? Leave your comments down below. And hit like and subscribe if you like reactions like this. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future reactions. And thanks for stopping in for this Vicarious View.